She thought it was just another flight. A white woman, furious, demanding the young black boy give up the seat he rightfully paid for. Passengers looked away, whispers filled the cabin, but no one expected what came next. Because this boy wasn't just any passenger. He was connected to the very heart of the airline itself. What unfolded in those tense minutes exposed not only her prejudice, but a truth that left the entire plane in shock. So, what happens when arrogance collides with hidden power? It was supposed to be a simple trip. 12-year-old Jordan loved flying. His father owned part of the airline, but Jordan never bragged about it. To him, this was just another chance to visit family, sit by the window, and watch the clouds roll by. He had his ticket in hand, his favorite backpack on his shoulders, and a smile that said everything was normal. But as he walked down the aisle to his seat, he had no idea that someone else had already decided he didn't belong there. And in just moments, that ordinary flight would turn into something no one on board could forget. Jordan slid into his seat, pressing his small backpack under the chair, eager to watch the runway from the window. But before he could settle, a sharp voice cut through the hum of passengers boarding. "That's my seat," a woman snapped. Her tone wasn't confused, it was entitled. Jordan looked up, confused but polite. He held up his ticket, showing the number clearly printed. It matched the seat, but the woman's eyes didn't even flicker to the paper. Instead, she glared at him. "You need to move. Don't make this difficult." A few passengers glanced over, uneasy. Some shook their heads, others quickly looked away. Jordan's heart pounded. He knew he was right. Still, his voice trembled when he said, "Ma'am, this is the seat I was assigned." The woman scoffed, folding her arms. "Don't play games. I paid for this spot. There's no way you have it." The way she emphasized you left no doubt. This wasn't about a mistake. This was about him. The flight attendant rushed over, sensing tension. "Is there a problem here?" she asked. Jordan held out his ticket again, silently pleading for someone to see the truth. The attendant checked it, nodded. "He's correct. This is his seat." But the woman wasn't finished. "I don't care what that says. He can sit somewhere else. I'm not moving." The air grew thick. Whispers spread across the cabin. Jordan felt every eye on him, heat burning his cheeks. Why wasn't anyone standing up for him? Why did it feel like he was the one intruding? The attendant tried again, her voice firmer this time. "Ma'am, please return to your assigned seat." The woman leaned closer, lowering her voice, but loud enough for people to hear. "You don't understand. Some people don't belong up here." Jordan's chest tightened. The words landed like knives. He thought of his father, how he had always told him to hold his head high, never to shrink when others tried to make him small. But right now, shrinking felt safer. He glanced toward the back of the plane once. The flight attendant's voice trembled as she spoke into the intercom, asking the captain to come forward. The cabin hushed. Jordan sat frozen, his fingers digging into the armrest, while the woman stood tall, lips curled in triumph, as if victory was already hers. When the captain finally appeared, the air shifted. He walked down the aisle with authority, eyes sharp, scanning the scene. Passengers straightened in their seats, waiting. Jordan's chest pounded. Was this the moment he would be forced out, humiliated in front of everyone? The woman wasted no time. "Captain, thank goodness you're here. This child is in my seat. I don't know how he got this ticket, but he needs to move." Her voice dripped with false indignation, as though she was the victim. Jordan's mouth opened, but no sound came. He had his ticket, the proof, but would it matter? He thought of every story he'd heard about boys like him. Pushed aside, silenced, ignored. For a moment, the weight of history pressed down, and he felt small. The captain glanced at Jordan, then at the ticket in his shaking hand. His face softened with recognition. He bent slightly, his voice calm but firm. "Jordan, are you okay?" Gasps rippled through the cabin. The woman's smile faltered. "Wait, you know him?" The captain straightened, his tone cutting through the tension like steel. "Yes, this boy is the son of the airline's owner, and he is exactly where he belongs." A silence thicker than the clouds outside filled the plane. The woman's face went pale, her confidence collapsing in an instant. The passengers who had stayed quiet now leaned forward, watching, some with shame in their eyes, others with relief. And Jordan? He sat taller, the fear melting into something stronger, pride. For the first time since boarding, he didn't feel alone. But what the captain said next would leave the entire plane stunned. The woman's face turned crimson as whispers spread through the cabin. Some passengers shook their heads in disbelief. Others avoided Jordan's gaze, ashamed they hadn't spoken up sooner. The captain's words left no room for argument. Jordan belonged in that seat. The woman was escorted to her assigned spot, her arrogance crumbling into silence. For Jordan, the flight continued, but not the same way it began. He sat by the window, clouds drifting by, yet his thoughts weighed heavy. Yes, the truth had silenced her. Yes, he had been defended. But deep inside, the sting of her words still echoed. You don't belong. It wasn't about the seat. It was about the world that too often saw his skin before his humanity. And that's the part that lingers long after moments like these. Because Jordan's story isn't just his. It's a reflection of countless untold stories, of children made to feel small, of families forced to swallow humiliation, of lives shaped by prejudice they never asked for. The irony? That woman believed she had more right to the seat because of the boy's race. Yet she didn't know the truth. He was tied to the very airline she trusted to carry her. Her judgment had blinded her to simple humanity. So the question isn't just what happened on that plane. The question is bigger. How many more Jordans must endure moments like this before we, as a society, stop questioning who belongs and start affirming that everyone does? This is more than one flight, more than one boy. It's a reminder, a challenge, a call to each of us. The next time injustice takes a seat beside us, will we look away or will we finally stand up?